Hi Virgo, welcome to your January 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. These are back. I had so many messages, so many DMs, so many emails from all of you. I told you I would never leave you in the lurch. There are new things, there are old things, there's a whole mishmash of things coming, and there is going to be a whole restructuring yet again of Radiant Reality, so stay tuned. With that said, let's see what this year is kicking off with you from the start. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So obviously I couldn't get these all out in time, so this transit actually comes, it perfects really across between the 1st and the 3rd of January, but I think it will still be relevant information for you to hear, so let's get into it right now. Between the 1st and the 3rd of January, Mars and Pluto are going to come into an opposition. Now, this is the second part in a 3-part series, right? So we had the first one already, and now we're going to have the second, right? So because of the retrograde energy, so we've already had this happen once. It's now retrograding to come back to happen again. And then when Mars goes direct in the new year, we're already in the new year, Raph. And when Mars goes direct in February, and then as it moves forward on through April, we'll go through this same opposition again. So this is the second part in a trilogy of trilogy worth of a transit. Now, Mars is in your 12th house, right? So this could be, and it's retrograde, right? So it could have been stirring up old wounds, old hidden frustrations, maybe even seen you get really frustrated with yourself about some bad habits or practices that you've kind of let run away with themselves. Now, this is for you happening across the 6th, 12th house axis. This is the health axis. 6th house, physical health and vitality. 12th house, mental and spiritual health and vitality. So, because Pluto is over there in your 6th house, this might bring an element of your daily habits, health routines, right? It adds, and your work as well, it adds a layer of intensity because you might have been maybe having some practices with or around work and all the rest of it that you're kind of like, yeah, you know what, actually this is not working for me at all. And now this is where you are really able to address it, but you're going into, where is this coming from me on an internal or a mental level? How am I allowing this to become a problem or an issue, and what am I ready to do about it? It could highlight areas of your life where you've been overextending yourself, maybe even, showing where your unresolved issues are sort of manifesting as physical or emotional tension, right? So maybe some of the past stuff or baggage is now showing up in the physical body, and it's like, okay, shit, I need to get real about how I'm going to approach this and make this work. You might feel unusually sensitive and potentially irritable at this time, especially if old fears and anxieties are like coming up or bubbling to the surface in some way. A physical outlet would really help, especially if it's something that allows you to tap into that intensity, right? So something like yoga, maybe qigong, something that really gets you to connect to your body in a very deep spiritual way. This could also be to confront toxic habits or subconscious patterns that are draining your energy, right? That Pluto is bringing an intensity to the 6th. I've just had Pluto move through the 6th house for the last 14 years, and I can tell you it was not easy, right? One of the things that I will say as well is Pluto moving through the 6th can bring skin problems and issues, because Pluto is like things sort of flaking off. So if you notice something like that, it's your body or your diet trying to tell you that it needs more rethinking. Trust the process. It's going to be challenging, right? And it's clearing the way for healthier and more balanced future for you in some way. But I think what I like about the fact that this is happening in the 6th and the 12th, while it can be that the 12th is hidden enemies and the 6th house is open enemies, right? People that we have to work with, whether we like them or not. This could become a bit more of a problem at this time, and it possibly boils over. However, because a lot of this is very personal and internal, if there are issues showing up externally, they really are a reflection of something that's unresolved within you at this time. All right, so let's give this, some a shuffle, and then let's give this some detail to see what comes up for you. So Virgo, you have the Temperance card. So this really can be what kicks off a very profound healing, a very profound period of healing for you. But it's going to require you to be really honest about what and where is out of alignment in your own life. You've got this with the Justice card, so really finding a way to bring the balance in. Not too much work, not too much physical, not too much spiritual, not too much internal. Right, and then you've got this with the 8 of Wands. Talking therapy could be absolutely brilliant for you at this moment in time. This is a really odd message, but for those of you that have had things in the background around land, property, real estate, especially if this is something that's been on your mind for a while, and this is the message that I'm giving, so I'm going to give it to you. The less resolved you are on the inside, the longer this is going to drag on for, right? And I get the feeling that you're going to know what I'm talking. Those of you that know, that are in this situation, will know exactly what I'm talking about. Personally, I'm like, okay, I want to get a little bit nosy and ask you to put it in the comments if it's not too personal. All right, so on the 3rd of January, as I'm putting this out and you guys are watching it, Venus, the lady of pleasure, romance, joy, luck, love, creativity, is coming into your 7th house. Venus in Pisces is exalted, so she does good work here. And she's coming into the 7th house of relationships. Venus understands the 7th house. She understands those partnerships, relationships, one-to-one connections. She's going to bring healing and harmony and a sense of rightness to your relationships at this time. This could mark a connection with a romantic partner or a professional or platonic one. It could also be an opportunity to mend a connection that has felt strained in some way. Remember, Venus brings lightness and healing. She brings ease to whatever she touches. Now, Venus for you rules your 2nd house of money, finances and resources, and she also rules your 9th house of your higher mind and learning and foreign travel, all kinds of things that are expanding you. So this could be about self-worth, it could be about values, and it maybe sees you valuing yourself or starting to understand a bit better what it is that you actually bring to a relationship and how that actually, or maybe how you've undervalued yourself in that regard, right? Well, my partner's better than I am, or, my business partner gives more than I do. And this Venus coming into the 7th, not only does it make the relationships and the connections and collaborations easier, it also helps you realign your sense of self-worth in what you give in your relationships as well. So a past agreement or contract of some sort, if you've got negotiations going on, this could be a really good time for those kinds of things. It might make it easier to get these things sort of wrapped up with grace. So that could be really nice. The 7th house also relates to your, people that you are in competition with, right? So this could help you find peace and resolution around someone that you've been at odds with, or potentially see you addressing a toxic dynamic that needs to be released. Venus brings that soothing balm to help you let go, right? To trust that that her sweetness and light is going to counterbalance everything else that's going on in that space. For this, you have the 2 of Swords. So you're going to have to trust your feelings on this one. You've got the 2 of Wands. So 2 2s represents a bond, a pact, or an accord. And then you've got this with the 8 of Pentacles. So it's very likely that you're forging a new partnership, a new connection, or a new collaboration when it comes to your work. Now, remember, Venus is slowing down at this point. She's not in shadow just yet. She won't reach shadow until the end of the month. But then obviously as we get into March, Venus is going to go retrograde. So you need to pay attention to this whole Venus transit, but especially the last 2 weeks of the month. Now, Two of Swords, Two of Wands, 2 twos, that bond, that pact, that accord. You're forging a new partnership, but it's a professional partnership here. There's some kind of new business partnership, connection, collaboration on the horizon that potentially, with the Two of Wands involved, could be very lucrative for both you and the other party. I think really what this requires is a lot of open and honest communication. And what I will say is, because you've got the Two of Swords here, you can't be surreptitious about this, right? You're going to have to really be upfront and honest and vocal about all of it, because otherwise it's not going to work. All right, so loving that. On the 6th of the month, Mars is going to leave your 12th house and reverse back into your 11th. Now, Mars re-enters or returns to your house of friendships, goals, wider community, associations, group associations, social media. It also comes into the space that is benefactors and your highest goals, visions and dreams, aspirations for the future. It could stir up unresolved tensions in these areas around friends. Watch out for getting into spats and things over or on or through social media. This might be a time where somebody tags you in something and then, all kicks off and you're like, hang on a sec, what the fuck have I done? All I did was wake up this morning, right? So just something to be mindful of. Mars for you obviously rules your 3rd house of communications, conversations, interactions. It also rules your 8th house. So, although communication is configured here, you might also find yourself revisiting old disagreements or needing to repair relationships within your social circle. If a goal or a dream has been stalled in some way, this retrograde is going to help you get rid of, cut away. Remember, Mars is cutting, severing, removing. This is giving you the oomph or the power that you need to say, okay, that doesn't work anymore, and it's getting in the way of whatever my goals, dreams and aspirations for the future actually are. On a deeper level, the transit's asking you to examine how you assert yourself in your friendships, in your group settings. Are you holding on to any resentments or toxicity around that stuff? Decluttering your social life, decluttering your social media, getting rid of some form of social media, just cutting it and saying, you know what, not doing that anymore. This could be that as well. Use this to realign with your true aspirations and to let go of any anger or frustration that's been holding you back, or even partnerships and, not necessarily like partnerships, but at least collaborations, or maybe even people that you looked up to, or, mentors. You could be looking at someone and thinking, yeah, once upon a time I actually felt that way about you, but I don't anymore. And you could be releasing that. For this, you've got the Three of Wands, so you're going to have to think outside the box with this one as well. You've got the Three of Cups. 2 threes represents a calming influence, so love that for you. And the 10 of Wands. What this says to me is the calming influence is on a deep personal level. And remember, the Three of Cups is friendships. There's a part of you that knows that there are some friendships that are about to come to an end, that there are some connections that are about to come to a close, and that's okay. It doesn't look like they're ending on an animosity kind of note. It's more a case of, wow, okay, I always thought that we would be friends, but I see myself going in a very different direction. It's almost like, you're cutting away or releasing people, connections or commitments, or even connections with friends and even benefactors that you look at and you think, wow, you know what? And it's not like, oh, I've outgrown you. It's more a case of, my life is going this way now and yours seems to be going that way. And it's not like maybe you don't have the conversation where it's like, okay, we're ending our friendship. But maybe it's kind of like now begins that natural drift because where you're going, you're not going to be able to take certain people with you, and vice versa. And that 10 of Wands, this could see you saying, yeah, it's time to release the friendships that feel like they've been a burden. And again, it's not like you're kicking anybody to the curb. It's more just an acknowledgement of that's not going to be what I need reflected at me in order to go where it is that my life is taking me. So the next one that I want to look at is this nodal shift on the 12th of the month, right? So you've got the North Node moving into the sign of Pisces. My other South Node went up the Hoover, and as much as I tried to look for it, I just couldn't find it. The Sun is actually in Capricorn, but when I start these for a sign, I like to have it in the sign that we're talking about so that people know. And the South Node is here in your sign, right? So we haven't had this nodal axis with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in your sign for around 18 years at this point, right? So it's a pretty big deal. Because it's across the first house, that's you, your personality, your self-expression, your outlook and your body. Your 7th house is your partnerships, relationships, significant other, personal interactions of a personal, professional, platonic, or even familial nature. Now, that being said, this is a deeply personal axis. This is me, this is we, this is me, this is them. Now, the North Node is what we're pulling in, what we get obsessed about in that really healthy devil card kind of way. It's what we feel an insatiable drive or hunger or pull towards. And it's Pisces. You want that relationship or those partnerships that you have to feel like they're soul relationships. You want with your significant other, if you're partnered, it's like, you know what, I need to feel you in my soul, right? It's not enough just that we have sex and that we live together and that we're buying a house together or whatever the case might be, or even that we've got kids together. I need to feel you are my soul person. When it comes to business, they need to resonate with you. Are our values the same? Do we, because it's Pisces, right? What is the common shared goal of upliftment of other people that we share as business owners and co-creators or collaborators? When it comes to professional, right? What is it that we're actually doing here? You're getting really obsessed with this. And because it's in the 7th house, you want commitment, you want partnership, you want collaboration. And Pisces is about yearning, right? So there's a soul yearning here for the right kinds of partnerships, the right kind of contracts, the right kind of commitments and connections. So it's a must, right? It's not even a case of like, oh, I'd like this. It's a must, certainly for the next 18 months. On the other side of it, you've got the South Node in the sign of Virgo, which is about service, right? This is in your 1st house, that South Node. Does this mean that because this is what we get rid of, it's what we excrete, it's what we push away, what we repel, what we get rid of. Okay, so does this mean you're getting rid of yourself? No, of course not. But the idea that you have to be all things to all people at any given moment, that you constantly have to be of service to others, that goes away. It all goes, right? Starting from here on in. So I actually love this for you. It also means that this idea that you are on your own, that you can't ask for help, all of that stuff, you're chucking that in the trash. You're starting to understand like, oh, okay, it's not just me, myself and I. And while I want to be of service, I'm meeting and connecting with people that also want to be of service in another way. And I'm also meeting and connecting with people that want to be of service to me. So it's not just me constantly giving and pouring out and becoming resentful for it now. This is me finding true balance, right? It's a balance axis. And remember, whenever you have eclipses across the angular houses, the 1st and the 7th, the 4th and the 10th, you feel them on a visceral level. All right. So this is, in a lot of ways, it's highlighting a more compassionate approach to relationships. This is a time to trust the flow of partnerships, to let go of the need to fix or control others. You might even attract people who inspire spiritual growth or to help you see from a different perspective. And that first house, South Node, It's helping you rid or detox your self-concept and to let go of the pressure of having it all together all the time, right? Trust that by releasing these patterns and getting rid of this idea that you always have to be on for other people, getting rid of that is only going to serve you, right? It's only going to serve you really well. Now, to clarify on this, you've got the Devil card. Well, there's the Devil card. I talked about this, right? You've got this with the Judgment card. That's the breaking of old habits that really have held you back. And this isn't wow, okay? And this isn't like a, oh, well, you know, this has held me back, so I deserve to only be where I am in life. No. If you're doing that, you're still not tapping into that South Node. You ain't hear me? We're getting rid of that stuff. We're not doing that anymore. What we are doing is this healthy obsession that says I'm breaking away from old habits that have only held me down. I'm breaking away from old traditions of my family or my heritage that have told me that I have to be this, that I can only succeed if I'm that only good girls get this and only good boys get that. Fuck all of that. Right? You're getting rid of all of that. You're phasing it out. You're releasing it. This is about a moment of pure self-honesty to say, this is who I actually am when I'm free of all the constraints of what society tells me I have to be or my family shoved down my throat. And this is who I can be when I have the right partnerships, the right connections, the right commitments. I've said this before, and you know, I'm probably going to stir a little bit of a trigger here for some people, but I'm going to say it anyway because my energy is very catalytic, and that's something that has taken me a long time to accept. I am a change bringer in people's lives. So I'm going to say this: the right partner, personal, professional, platonic, familial, the right partner in your life can make or break your world. Whatever you're trying to do, the wrong or the right person behind you or beside you is going to make or break it, right? Now, that being said, Ten of Pentacles is a money card, which means in this axis, even though it's not a financial axis, in these nodal shifts, doing this work could lead you to more financial stability and security than you ever thought possible. Finally, let's get into your lunations. But before we do, your AstroTarot scopes are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. So if you would like to see what this year has in store for your sun, moon or rising, make sure you check those out on the 8th of the month. So I'm not doing any in-person Zoom sessions now until around April because I've got too many things that I'm building in the background. Now, if you want to get a session with me, I only have 2 of those that are coming up and they're going to be released this month. Around the 8th, I'm releasing a certain amount of slots where you get to work with me for 2.5 to 3 hours. We're going to plan your year, right, using all of your correspondences. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be in depth. You're going to spend, you know, a nice chunky healthy sort of amount of time with me. Yes, there will be breaks to really get the jump on your year ahead. That will be on my socials and on the YouTube community tab, so watch out for that around the 8th of the month. On the and then at the end of the month, I'll be opening up the next 10 slots for my Work With Me for 3 months program. So there's a lot going on. If you want to be a part of that, I'm giving you the heads up now. I'm giving you the heads up here so that you're aware, because these spaces tend to really just disappear really quickly, and I want to make sure that everybody gets fair warning. On the 13th of the month, we have the full moon in the sign of Cancer. This full moon is conjunct Mars in your 11th house of friendships, higher aspirations, goals and dreams, group associations, all of that good stuff again, right? So this comes up again. Now, as if that wasn't enough, it's in a sextile to Uranus in the sign of Taurus in your 9th house. And it's in a trine to that North Node and Neptune in your 7th house. This is about partnerships and collaborations that help you reach the wider community of the world. It's also potentially that Mars retrograde conjunct the moon. It's stirring up frustrations potentially around the social circle, maybe around some of the things that you're trying to get off the ground in some way. It could also be that Neptune and the North Node in the 7th house of relationships, it's encouraging you to align with with partnerships that actually support your dreams, right? Not just one way, not just, yes, I'm helping other people, but in a way that actually offers reciprocal support. And that Mars retrograde conjunct that full moon. A full moon is a completion point. There's something here that you're letting go of. It could be a dream or a goal that you kind of say to yourself, actually, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. Or it could be that you start cutting away and getting rid of what is superfluous to that and actually stopping you getting ahead. That Uranus in the 9th house of beliefs and expansion is urging you to really think bigger, to find new perspectives that allow those dreams and visions that you have for the future to become a possibility. This full moon is helping you, realign or recalibrate your social connections to focus on what actually lights you up, what gets you fired up for the future. And, it can bring healing and clarity for you as long as you're honest about what's been holding you back. For this, from the Human Design Oracle deck, you have... the Gate 10 and Empower. Okay, so two things. The first one is don't get sucked up into what the appearance says. All right, like look for the real of it. And the second is by empowering yourself or truly standing in your own power, you become an example to others in order to wield that. And this in the 11th house, this is about going for your dreams, regardless of what anybody else thinks or feels about what those dreams might be. All right, and then on the 29th of the month, we've got the new moon in the sign of Aquarius, which for you represents your 6th house. This is a time to set intentions, to plant seeds in that 6th house space of health, work, your daily habits and routines forming, and it's connecting to Jupiter in a trine in your 10th house. This is your daily habits and work, the things that you do, the things that you work hard at, that you plant seeds on, getting a really nice trine from Jupiter. It is a retrograde Jupiter, but even still helping you shine out in the world, right? It's a really wonderful moment of intention setting that helps improve your well-being, creating a more balanced schedule for yourself, creating better routines that actually allow you to really shine so that when you are on, you're on and you feel good, right? It's not that you run ragged and it's like, oh, now I have to pretend to be on. All right, you might find opportunities to enhance your workflow, to gain recognition at work, or maybe even to improve your overall health. The connection to the part of fortune at this time, and I don't have one of those, it could be that there's a raise or a job or a new job opportunity. It could be improvement in your physical health and well-being opens up new avenues for you where you think, wow, you know what, now that I actually feel better in my physical self, I actually feel like I can do more. All right, lean into this energy because the small consistent steps that you create, all about 6th house stuff, Virgo, it's paving the way for success, but also more stability as well. And for this, you've got the Gate 23 and Assimilate. I love this card. It's one of my favorite because it's about turning dreams into a reality. And that's what this new moon is really going to show you how to do. It's like, this is what it's going to take on that daily level in order to turn your dreams into reality. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic time. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.